As you know, the President went to Maguindanao yesterday in a town hall-style meeting to assure our Muslim brothers that he stands by his commitment to ensure the passage of the Bangsamoro Basic Law. Now, the President's message is very clear. It was a campaign promise, and it is a commitment from him as President that he will do all that is necessary to rectify what he described as the historical injustice committed against the Muslim population of Mindanao. The President emphasized that unlike the previous BBL, this BBL is all-inclusive. It had in mind the MILF, the MNLF, and even the LUMADs. You will note that the LUMADs protested the last version of the BBL under the past dispensation because it classified LUMADs as Bangsamoro as well. Now, the MILF managed to gather 1 million-strong individuals. Although I'm not in a position to actually say it was 1 million from the air because we arrived by chopper, you could see that all the streets leading to the venue of the town hall was filled with individuals. No? Also today, the President issued and signed Executive Order Number 47, which amends EO Number 82, institutionalizing the legacy of the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. No? Now, there's a need to further amend EO 82 to ensure an effective integration of the functions of the EDSA People Power Commission and the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. The chairman of the NHCP shall now serve as ex officio chairman of the EDSA People Power Commission. The National Historical Commission shall likewise assume the management of the People Power Monument and ensure its continued maintenance and upkeep. And finally, I'd like to rectify a statement that I issued yesterday. I was not sure when the 30-day period should be reckoned from, and this is the 30-day period within which the military should advise the President on whether or not to extend the declaration of martial law in Mindanao. I think regardless of the number of days or regardless of where we are in terms of the 1-month period, the reality is the armed forces of the Philippines will have to give the advice because, as you know, Congress will have to be consulted on any effort to extend martial law, and Congress will go on recess this December 15, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, the palace knows when this congressional recess will take place, and options are either that the request for whatever may be given before they go on recess, or like in the previous time, they may have to be a special session called for this purpose. But again, I would like to clarify that I'm really not sure when the 30-day period will be reckoned with, so the relevant period to be reckoned with is when Congress goes on recess. I'm now ready to answer your questions.
Question, Marisa Nalili, TV5. Microphone, please.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, some senators were called to the call of President Duterte for a special session, saying that they have a lot of issues at hand, given that they have to pass the national budget, etc., etc. May we have your reaction to this?
This is for what special
session? For the
session?
Bangsamoro Basic Law, sir.
Well, he didn't say naman when he will actually call for the special session. He only emphasized that if need be, he will call Congress for a special session. He did not intend or he did not limit the time frame this year or the remaining part of December. In fact, the Bangsamoro bill is still at the committee level of the House. No? So we expect that we have time for Congress to discuss the BBL.
Sir, when the President said that he'll be calling a special session if needed, is he referring to a joint special session?
Well, you know, it does not matter because what is important only is that if they run out of time, a special session is required for Congress to meet as a body. It doesn't have to be a joint session. No? There's no requirement that it be a joint session, but a special session is required when Congress has run out of time because both houses of Congress must convene by way of special session if they are to approve bills.
Sir, how soon do you expect the BBL to be passed? Because some senators are also saying that it is quite impossible to pass it within the year.
I don't want to pressure Congress right now, but I think they have received the message that this is one of the top priorities of the administration.
Thank you, sir.
Follow-up, BBL, Joseph Morong.
Sir, when the president said that there's only going to be one republic, no? How does this statement mean in relation to, number one, the title of the basic law? Because basic law for the ʟᴜᴜᴇ, basic law, no? That supposes a constitution, parang may ganong legal, number one. And number two, how does it relate to yung contiguous territory na feature yung BBL? Because before that was the fear na it's going to spread, and in terms of territory, baka masyadong malaki.
Well, number one, when he says it will be one republic, there will still be only one political entity known as the Republic of the Philippines. However, the relationship of the proposed Bangsamoro entity will be with the Philippine government. We are not allowing any secession. We are not allowing the creation of a new state. It will have to be within the framework of the existing Republic of the Philippines, and that is what the president meant. No? Secondly, your second question is?
Yung sa contiguous territory. Kasi before, when I was covering this, kaya ayaw ng iba ng basic law yung title ng law is that may kind of assumption that it's constitution for another state.
Well, I think the president is very clear on that. Whatever arrangement will be, it will be within the framework of one Republic of the Philippines, and we leave it to Congress for now, to determine the areas that will be covered by the Bangsamoro entity. I think that should be debated by Congress itself.
As submitted, sir, to the House of Representatives, ano yung assessment ng Palace as far as that version is concerned?
If I'm not mistaken, the requirement is there's a stated area, and there's a certain percentage if an area wants to join, to be called in a referendum. But I'm not sure about the details right now. But as I said, we would not want to preclude Congress. Let Congress debate it, because it is Congress that is a deliberative policy, a policy maker. It is an issue of policy, so we leave it to Congress.
Just one last point. March 21 daw, kaya na lang ibigay, sir.
I hope so. I did not want to give any time frame to the Congress, because they are, after all, a co-equal branch of government. But I have heard from my sources in OPAP that they're looking at sometime in March for the passage, at least in the House of Representatives.
Thank you.
Follow-up? Follow-up about BBL, Dexter Ganive.
Sir, good morning.
Yes,
Sir,
Dexter.
yung papandayin na basic law for Bangsamoro, ito po ba ay nakahilera na dun sa pinapanday, sinusulong po ngayon na federal form of government? Hindi po ba pag sinabi nating federal form of government, bawat federal state ay merong basic law?
Hindi po. Well, number one, as I said, the crafting of the policy is left to Congress. So we don't want to preclude Congress. But number two, what I can confirm is the President has committed passage of the BBL independent of the adoption of a federal form of government. Oftentimes the issue is asked which will come first. Well, I think it's very clear that from the pronouncement of the President yesterday, he has given top priority to the passage of the BBL.
So paano yun, sir? Kapag meron ng basic law for the Bangsamoro at naisulong din ang federalism, paano po mai-inline doon sa federal government? Yung
Alam niyo po, nakasaad sa jurisprudence natin, Congress is always presumed to know what the laws that it is passing. So kung maipapasa yung proposed amendments to the Constitution for federal form of government, matapos maipasa ang BBL, sigurado po ako na yung proposed amendments to the BBL would be consistent with the provisions on the BBL law passed.
Thank you, sir.
Questions? Follow-up? Other issue? Pia Ranyada.
Hi, sir.
Hi,
Sir,
Pia.
the President has been mentioning in many speeches that he is inclined to bring back the police to the drug war. And then he said po na he hasn't signed the EO yet, but he doesn't mention what particular consideration, what's stopping him exactly from actually signing the EO? Did you get a chance to ask him what was the major consideration in when he will sign that EO?
I think I said this yesterday in Panakan. I think we should allow the president absolute discretion on whether or not he will transfer it anew to the PNP and when he will do it. I will just reiterate that unless he issues the necessary written directive, it remains with the PIDEA, and let's leave it at that.
So sir, we weren't able to ask him why he's still parang nag-aalandangan siya to sign the EO.
Well, we talked about it when the victims of the Maguindanao massacre were with him last Wednesday, and that's why I know that there is no final decision on it, because the way he talked about it was it's still at that point where he is considering it. No, so I understand I understand that we need to clarify this matter, but what I'm saying is this is one of those areas subject to presidential prerogative. So let's give him all the time that he needs to study whether or not he will actually return it to the PNP and when.
Because, sir, we recall that he withdrew the PNP largely because of the corruption allegation. So the fact that he's actually mulling their return, does that mean that he's on a certain level of satisfaction with the purge of corrupt police in the force?
I will not speculate. I will again reiterate that let's leave the president be on this issue as he studies the matter very well.
All right, thanks, sir.
Follow up on drugs? Hannah Sancho.
Morning, Secretary Roque. Sir, may news report pa ang Reuters na may na-obtain po sila mga CCTV footage sa isang police operation sa Manila. Ayon sa blotter, nanlaban yung 3 drug suspects. Pero taliwas po ito sa nakita sa CCTV na malinaw na binaril ito ng mga police enforcers. At may footage din na tila minumove ng mga police yung mga CCTV para hindi sila makunan during the operations. Pero hindi nila napansin kasi medyo marami pa rin CCTV dun sa area.
Well, I assure you that authorities are now looking into this matter. We're in the process also of authenticating the video. I assure you that the President will not tolerate any abuses that may be committed by some personnel of the PNP. Again, the palace position is we do not tolerate police violence, brutality, or killing. Of course, the latest pronouncement in this regard is still the Arnaiz case as well as the Kian case, that the President will not tolerate murders being committed by the PNP. But we are looking into this because this is very new. I think it only came out yesterday. No?
Yesterday yung article, sir. Yung incident last October 21.
And I myself have not seen the video, but I will see it at some point.
Sir, ngayon nasa PIDEA na po yung drug war. Yung mga reklamo doon sa mga police officers na may reklamo sa kanila na pinapatay talaga nila. Hindi na nalaban yung mga nahuhuli nila ng mga drug suspects. Ano na po yung update po dun sa yung mga police officers na yun, sir, na
ang problema po, hindi natin
nirereklamo?
alam kung talaga may reklamo.
Okay.
Ang reklamo po ay sinusulat, isinasampa sa mga authorities. No? So marami po yung pwedeng puntahan. Pwedeng dalhin sa NAPOLCOM, pwedeng dalhin sa IAS, pwedeng dalhin sa Ombudsman, pwedeng dalhin sa PLEB. So ang problema po, maraming reports na di umano, merong mga katiwalian, pero hindi ko po alam kung ilan talaga ang mga complaints na nakasampa. Ngayong tinanong mo yan, mahahanap po ako ng figura kung ilan talaga yung mga naisampang complaints nang malaman po natin talaga kung meron nga bang reklamo. Kaya nga po, hinihimo ko yung mga abogado, tumulong kayo sa proseso pagkalap ng ebidensya, dahil kung wala naman po magrereklamo, paano tayo mag-iimbestiga at paano tayo magpaparusa? Hindi po sapat yung press release na may mga ganitong reklamo, kinakailangan may aktual na complaint na isasampa. At napakadami pong pwedeng pagsampahan dyan. Pati po dito sa Presidential Action Center, pwede na po sila magreklamo kung ayaw nilang pumunta sa NAPOLCOM, sa IAS, sa PLEB, o di naman kaya sa Ombudsman.
Thank you, sir.
Follow up on drugs? Other issue, Jar Rosales.
Good day, spokes. Two questions lang po. First, MGB Director Wilfredo Moncano last week said it is difficult for some mining companies to stop paying the NPA revolutionary taxes. He said refusing to pay in most cases leads to burning of heavy equipment of the mining companies. Does President Duterte have a directive on how to address this in light of his threat to shut down mining companies financing the NPA?
I will not annotate what the president said. He says that those who will pay revolutionary tax will be shut down. Now, I am sure that there will be consequences. Well, call upon the PNP and the armed forces of the Philippines to do their job.
So, magkakaroon po ba ng directive to the defense forces to somewhat provide security to
Naku,
these
hindi
mining
na po
companies?
kailangan ng directive dahil yan po talaga yung mandato ng kapulisan at ng hukbong sandatahan. Ang mandato po ng pulis ay to deal with problems involving law and order at meron din po silang mandato to deal with yung ongoing rebellion. No? At ganyan din po ang mandato ng ating hukbong sandatahan, no? Not just to deal with external threats but also with internal threats. No? At lalong-lalo na po sa Mindanao where there is a state of martial law, talaga pong merong katungkulan ang militar, no? Na panatiliin din ang kapayapaan dyan sa Mindanao.
Then, last question, sir. What legislative action does the Duterte administration intends to prioritize with the Congress coming to a close for a Christmas break po? Ang dami po kasi yatang nakapila ngayon, yung pagpapasa ng train, yung possible extension of the martial law. Ano po yung...
Siyempre po, importante yung budget. Dahil pag hindi po nainak ang budget, yan po yung single most important output ng ating Kongreso, yung pantao ng budget. Wala tayong bagong budget, hindi magkakaroon ng katuparan yung build kung hindi magkakaroon ng pagtaas ng budget. Ang implication po pag hindi napasa ang budget ay we will have a reenacted budget and we have a slightly higher budget for this year of 2018 compared to 2017. Nandiyan din po yung train, syempre, dahil yung train po is also intended to finance the Build program of the Philippines. No? And kung hihingi po talaga ng extension of martial law, although this is premature dahil wala pa namang request, that will also be a priority. Now, the martial law though is, it's not as if Congress has an option because if the President declares, they're duty-bound to convene whether or not they're in session.
So, confident po ang Palas na kayang gawin to lahat within 1 month?
Kaya naman po yan dahil yung tatlong yan, tingin ko matagal na pong napagdidebatihan sa Senado. Tapos na po lahat yan sa Kamara ha. So, sa Senado na lang po inaantay natin.
Thank you.
Ted Tubera.
Good morning, Secretary.
Yes, Ted.
Secretary, is the government still open to doing efforts to restore the peace talks with the CPP, NPA, NDF, like doing localized talks?
Napapangiti na ako kasi talagang tinatanong yan at well-publicized na yung sinabi kong it is permanent. The cessation of peace talks is permanent for now, no? And it's ironical, but that is really the status right now, no? We have to shut the doors for now to any ongoing peace talks. I'm not in a position to say that the door will forever be shut. We need to see sincerity on the part of the CPP-NPA. Show us that you are sincere, and I'm sure the President will act accordingly.
Yun nga, Secretary, how do we reconcile that permanent for now? Are we saying na that's the position of the current administration, and if this administration is done, there will be, the next administration would deal with the CPP-NPA?
I do not know what else I can say in this, no? Kasi wala na munang peace talks. Yun lang po yun. Hanggang walang sinseridad ang CPP-NPA. I do not know what else I can say. Kaya po napapangiti na ako kasi it's always a question, no? But the ball is in the court of the CPP-NPA. Show the requisite sincerity and the President might just consider. But for now, no more peace talks.
What are these conditions or to say that they are sincere?
Naku, hindi ko na po alam yun. Nasa kanila na yun. Nasa kanila na po yun.
Follow up.
Pero again, uulitin ko po, no? Nakita nyo naman ang chronology of events dyan, ha? Talaga namang wala na ibang presidente na nagbigay ng ganitong leeway para magkaroon ng usaping kapayapaan, and you have got to give it to President Duterte. Wala pong ganyang presidente na talagang all out na tinanggap niya na magkakaroon ng kapayapaan at kinilala niya na stakeholder, no, sa kanyang gobyerno itong mga membro ng CPP-NPA. At some point, Cory Aquino, I guess, also did that, pero that was for a very short period of time only, no? Pero dito po talagang maximum tolerance naman ang kanyang ipinakita.
Last on my part, Secretary. Could we clarify kung is the President still open to having this traditional Christmas truce with the CPP-NPA?
Now, that's a different matter. Let's wait for the President's action. Kasi traditional naman yan, no? Dahil Pasko, tigil putukan, but that's the President's call. What I'm saying is the termination of peace talks is a separate issue from whether or not he will declare. Ang tawag dyan, SOMO nga ba? SOMO. Ang tawag dyan, SOMO. No? So that's completely a different topic. Let's await word from the President.
Thank you,
Okay,
Secretary.
thank you, Ted. JP Bencito.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Just a follow-up on this. Sir, following the suspension of the peace talks, the NTF is still waiting for an official communication from the government. Sir, can we expect this kind of document to be sent to the Reds soon? When will this be?
Yes, that's a bit of legalist. No, that's too legalistic an approach. What else do they want? The President already issued a proclamation saying it's been terminated. It's not as if the NDF has a status of a state. It's not as if we're dealing with a treaty entered into between state parties. That's enough that there is a formal proclamation. Whether or not they will be given a formal letter of termination, to me that would be superfluous. Get a copy of the proclamation, and it's very clear. Peace talks are over for now.
Sir, just a follow-up on this also. Sir, there is a agreement that was signed between the government negotiators and the NDF before. It's called the JASIG. It provides joint agreement on safety and immunity guarantees. Sir, it provides guarantees to some of the NDF negotiators who are currently abroad or allows safe passage. Sir, will the government continue to acknowledge or recognize these agreements that were signed between among also with the NDF following the President's pronouncements?
I think that's to facilitate the conduct of peace talks. But since there are no more peace talks, there's no imperative to recognize these JASICs. No?
Sir,
and again, I stress, no, the agreements, while signed, does not have the status of a treaty. And because it does not have a status of a treaty, the maxim of pacta sunt servanda finds no application.
Sir, with that pronouncement of yours, how do we expect an arrest of the negotiators who were currently out on bail just to proceed with the peace talks? When do we expect? Will we instruct the Justice Department to do something about this?
I will not in any way alter the words of the President. It was the President himself who said that he will now order the arrest of the term he used was the legal front of the CPP NPA. No? So that's the current policy.
But sir, we don't have any instruction or timeline to the Justice Department when will we proceed with these arrests?
No timeline, but I think the Department of Justice knows what to do. Because in many of these instances, it was actually government prosecutors that asked for the temporary release of some of these individuals.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, questions? Other issue? Okay, Joseph Morong.
Clarification. During the speech, he said, order the surrender. Ordering an arrest is different because medyo passive yung order to surrender. Pero it's the EFP saying...
Okay, so what I meant to say was I will not paraphrase the President, go back to the transcript, that's what he said, it will remain.
So it's
whatever it is actually that he said, because I don't have the transcript here, no? But I was present when he said it, and well, we need the transcript. But what I'm saying is I am not going to annotate what he has already said.
Is he ordering the arrest of these leaders, 30 to 40?
Check the transcript. Check the transcript. But if I remember correctly...
Order surrender yung term.
I do not know, but we have to check the transcript. But the essence of what I understand is he can arrest them. Those who were released temporarily, who were previously subject of warrants of arrest, will be rearrested. correct? Those subject of warrant of arrest will be rearrested.
Questions, MPC?
Ano na?
Use the microphone.
Surrender or face punitive action. Yes.
Pia Pranyada.
Hi, sir. Sir, there are rallies of supporters who want a revolutionary government on November 30. And in pictures of some organizers, there were government officials meeting with the organizers. So some in the public are confused. Is this a government-sanctioned event? What is the Malacañang's position on these events?
These are individuals in the exercise of freedom of expression. So be it.
So, sir, no government backing at all? No resources of the government
I am
will
not
be
aware
spent on
of
these?
any government directive for anyone in the bureaucracy to join these rallies.
Is there a message from Malacañang to these supporters, given that the president has already said that he does not want to declare a revolutionary government?
You know, the president has never disallowed any public gathering, pro or against the administration. No? So why should there be any different policy for pro-Duterte groups that wish to exercise their freedom of expression? They're welcome to do so.
Okay, last question. Dexter Rosalie Cos.
Hello po. Sir, meron na naman pong nationwide transport strike sa December 4 and 5, ang No to Jeepney Phase-Out Coalition. So, inclined po bang Malacañang na mag-suspend ng classes? And ano po ang warning, reaction ng Malacañang sa napipinto na naman pong transport strike?
Well, nung nakaraan po, isang grupo lang naman ang sumuporta sa transport strike. Kung nagdesisyon ng palasyo dati na kanselahan ng klase kasi hindi pa siguro alam ng gobyerno kung ganong kalawak yung suporta at ayaw nilang magkaroon ng abirya ang ating mga mag-aaral. So ganyan po yung konteksto na naman na gagawa ng desisyon ng gobyerno, gagawin ng lahat para maprotektahan ang mananakay sa kahit anong abirya na magiging resulta ng transport strike. Having said that, I think the LTFRB is correct in saying that the holders of public franchise and conveniences are precluded from joining such action, and therefore expect that their participation will come with the legal consequences, no, as far as the award of Certificate of Public Convenience is concerned.
Follow up. Other issue.
Hi, sir. Going back lang po dun sa Reuters report. Could we get more details po on which agency was asked to look into this matter, sir?
Definitely, the police.
The police then.
And this is very new, so I'm sure the police are looking into this because it affects conduct of alleged policemen, because we do not know yet. We have to authenticate a video, no? But the police is looking into it, and I do not know if the president will order other branches of government or agencies of government to do so. I would look at the video in my capacity as Presidential Advisor on Human Rights, but I will have to find the video, and it will have to be somehow authenticated.
Follow up, sir. Do you think this will have a bearing dun sa decision ni President to bring back the police to the drug war? Magiging factor po ba to, sir?
You know, kasi ang problema dyan yan sa isyong yan, any which way we say, or whatever we say, hanggang hindi pa ginagawa ng presidente, the matter remains pending. Kaya ang apila ko, pabayaan muna natin yung presidente. I do not know if it will or it will not have an impact, but until the president has actually issued anything in writing, let's respect the status quo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last two, Joseph Morong and Dexter Ganibe.
Sir, just on the RevGov, what is the president's actual position?
Di ba, nandun ka naman sa Vietnam?
But there are two.
Ha?
Sometimes he says...
No,
he
but
wants
nasa
it.
Vietnam ka. He shrugged it off.
Okay.
Di ba, you and I were both present there, no?
Correct.
So I go by that. That's the official position.
Because there's a statement from the speaker na sinasabi niya na if may ganon na plano, handa sila na magbuwag yung camera and they're ready to lose their jobs. I mean, if the speaker is saying things like this, siguro naman meron siyang konting background that this might be a serious thing, or he's just responding to a theoretical question.
Well, I'm not the spokesperson for the speaker. I can't speak for him. But you and I heard and saw the president's declaration on the revolutionary government in Vietnam. I don't think it has been altered since.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Dexter Ganibe, last question.
So tomorrow, we will go to Suwat, Pangasinan for the release of the Vietnamese fishermen. And on Friday, hindi pa na-announce yung Friday nila, no? So anyway, bahala na yung Friday. Let them announce. May trip na naman. There's another trip, no? Back to Mindanao, no? Back to Mindanao. But anyway, November 30 is just around the corner. So you will find out the truth of whether or not there will be revolutionary government by November 30. Members of the cabinet were assigned their respective assignments, given their respective assignments because it's commemoration, no, for the different heroes. I'm assigned to Caloocan, no, so I will be there at 4 p.m. on November 30.
May special question daw po si Dexter Ganibe bago tayo
for next week, ano yun?
Off-cam na lang daw.
Ano ba naman yung special question for next week? Napaka-premature.
Okay.
Our lives here are, on a daily basis.
Pang year-end report daw yun, sir. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps and guests. Welcome, back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.
Can go if they wish to, according to Attorney Te, but they can only testify on administrative matters. That's the latest from the Supreme Court. Again, Attorney Theodore Te telling us that, Associate Justice Teresita De Castro is going to be allowed, has been allowed to talk about those three things with, again, limitations. Now let's go back again to the House of Representatives, the House Justice Committee on the impeachment hearing on the Chief Justice.
And not contribute to the complications and or misinformations that the public and or even the media is capturing and probably airing. So gusto po natin na maging maayos po yung takbo natin, kanya we are doing this. So maraming salamat. Any last, sige, panayang taas mo ng kamay. Final word from you, but keep it short and concise para po naintindihan na po namin ang complaint mo. Alam namin na wala kang personal knowledge, practically in all, and you are basing it on secondary evidence na nakuha mo from whoever. Hindi na namin gustong alamin yon. At based on authentic records, at yun po ang sisimulan natin bukas po. When we call in one or two or as many resource persons and or witnesses that we will call starting tomorrow. So ano po yung gusto niyo sabihin, Attorney Gadon?
Thank you po, Honorable Chairman. Meron po akong allegation dito sa complaint about the illegal contracts doon sa mga IT consultants. And
you're referring to paragraph?
Okay, ma. Yes, Your Honor, 7.1. Ang sinasabi ko po dito ay merong mga IT consultants, may mga kontrata na kinuha si Chief Justice Sereno sa Office of the Chief Justice. Yung mga IT consultants na binayaran ng more or less o mahigit 10 million. And when I filed this complaint, and so I asked for the certified true copies of the documents, the Supreme Court NBank noticed that there is an issue here of the illegal contracts. And so, the NBank ordered an investigation and ordered the senior court attorney to investigate the matters on these illegal contracts. And now, last week, a report was submitted to the NBank finding that all these contracts are illegal because they did not pass through the procurement process. The trouble is, the problem, Your Honors, is that they have already been paid for more than 10 million. And we can summon the Supreme Court official who conducted this investigation and who submitted the report to the NBank. This is...
Attorney Gadon, wala yan sa complaint mo?
Nasa complaint ko po.
Nasa inyo pa rin. What is that? That is part of what ground?
7.1, Your Honor.
Wala pa po tayo dyan. Kanya pwede ba, wag mo na munang guluhin ito. We are on the first two grounds. Kanya we will get there when the proper time comes.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Please be guided by, alam nyo naman yun, antimano. We're having difficulty managing this hearing because allegations are coming from everywhere. Kanya ho, ikinahon ho muna natin para mas malinaw. And what we are tackling today are two grounds covering 14 charges. At yun po yung kinover natin. So, please reserve your comment when we deal with those particular grounds and or charges, and there are 13 other allegations under those two charges of other high crimes and betrayal of public trust. So, hold your horse, ika nga, para maayos tayo. Okay?
I submit, Your Honor.
Okay, maraming salamat because we would now want to go to BIR to clarify on some points that we covered yesterday. Maraming salamat, Attorney Gadon, and yung lawyer mo, Attorney
Lawrence
Margallo. Binabayaran ka ba ng hindi ka na-recognize eh. Nire-recognize namin yun para mabayaran ka. So, maraming salamat sa inyo. You're excused, and we will now go to Attorney.
Mr. Chair, can he still stay while we will be asking questions to the BIR? There might be some questions which has to be reconciled by his complaint. So I think he can still stay.
Pwede naman. But ang point lang is, at saka to my understanding, wala pa rin naman itong BIR na may sasubmit ngayon. That is the information I got. So can you please articulate this matter for the information of this committee?
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I'm still respectfully appealing in behalf of the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, and as undertaken during yesterday's hearing, that's whether or not I will have the documents with me, I will attend today's hearing. So I am respectfully appearing today, Your Honor, to explain that this morning we have been working as undertaken that we are doing our best to do it as fast as we can to retrieve the documents as required by the Honorable Committee, Your Honor. We have already issued out the necessary memorandum orders to the respective offices who are in custody of the required documents this morning, and we expect them to be in by at least Friday. So, again, Your Honor, I would be asking for the indulgence of the Honorable Committee to please grant us the request.
You already did that, and sabi naman natin best effort lang.
Yes, we're still doing it, Your Honor.
And the more important point is that yung action paper requiring those who are in custody of these documents were now notified and were directed to submit this to the Office of the Commissioner. And
Yes,
we
sir.
understand that it will take time. So okay lang naman. After all, we are elated by the recent action taken by the Supreme Court, and I think we will have our hands full tomorrow when we resume session with the attendance of, in all likelihood, Associate Justice De Castro, who probably would have the inside information and the personal knowledge on all of these things that brought this case to this committee because of the allegation of usurpation and ano yan?
Failure to properly disclose salary.
Hindi, yung kay falsification of ARCAO. Ito yun, ano? Yung TRO on Senior Citizens Party List. Yung and the others, no? Anyway, palagay ko marami ito. And so, maraming salamat doon sa pagdalo mo in response to our request that you update us. No? But in the meanwhile, while you are here, para hindi naman masayang yung oras, meron ka bang tanong, Congressman Kit?
Mr. Chair, I was going to move, considering the good mood of the committee, to allow her more time. But since the chairman has already done it, no more questions, no further questions.
Salamat. Anybody else who would like to ask questions from our resource person from BIR? Wala pa naman siyang dala. So,
Mr. Chair, considering that the BIR representative informed us that the documents that we required them to produce will be available at the latest will be Friday, so probably we can have them on the line next week hearing. So considering that we are through with what are in the items in the agenda today with the complainant Gadon, so I move to suspend the hearing until tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning.
But before that, the witnesses and our resource persons and the complainants are now excused. No, short meeting lang tayo para.
Permission to leave, Your Honor.
Thank
Will
you.
it be executive?
Thank
Hindi
you.
naman, tayo lang. Ayun, before we suspend, ano, so the chair would just like to ask guidance from the members, no? Although konti lang naman tayo dito, pero we need to better manage our hearings, ano? And ang maganda bukas, may personal knowledge na talaga ito, no? But I would like to request everyone, since the potential invited resource person is a member of the Supreme Court, I think we ought to give her the proper courtesy and respect that is expected of us in dealing with a co-equal official of a different branch of government, no? So ito, iba naman ito, there are certain positions that we take, but again, while they may be witnesses, they are also resource persons, and more importantly, they are members of the Supreme Court, no? So, yun po yun. Hindi ko po alam kung ano yung extent we will get information later on the full extent of the authorization granted. Pero ako, from the many manifestations and or testimonies given, looks like we will have our hands full tomorrow with respect to our first witness, who will be, I think, Associate Justice Teresita De Castro. So, so yun yung ano, no? And kanina kasi may mga issues tayo na kailangan ba ng affidavit or opening statement. Kasi ako mahirap itong hingin sa mga ganitong level of resource persons, ano. But I'm sure she is prepared, and so based on our rules, palagay ko yung opening statement will do. No? So,
Mr. Chair?
kasi ang plano ko is that we will communicate this na kung pwedeng issue siya ng opening statement para kasi may kanya-kanya tayong teorya ng pangyayaring ito, and I do not want to muddle the issue by us during clarificatory questioning insisting on our version. Kanya mas magandang mailatag muna niya yung kung ano yung version niya para doon po tayo magtatanong. Para hindi po nalilihis. And of course, ang sinasabi ko nga sa inyo, we can ask leading questions. Hindi naman tayo, we are not precluded from asking leading questions. Wag lang misleading. Yun ang bawal, yung misleading question, kasi mamimislead pati yung ating mga miyembro at lalo tigit yung taong bayan na nanonood sa atin. Hindi. Doon ako nakatingin. So, yun yung atin. Any other matters that you'd like to discuss? Kasi ngayon, what I will ask the Secretariat now is babaguhin na natin ngayon ang estilo natin. Nung una, isa-isa tayo. Di ba? Pero it is becoming apparent that Justice De Castro is not only involved in one charge, no, but in as many charges there are on culpable violation. And she would have personal knowledge on many of these things dahil siya mismo yung involved siya yung oo nga, siya yung mismong katunggali ika nga ng Chief Justice mismo, no? So yun yung I will task the COMSEC and the Secretariat na all those and please Attorney Gadon, please help our Secretariat, all those that will involve or that where the Associate Justice Justice De Castro is involved, pagsamasamahin natin to para makover na natin siya in one sitting. Di ba? Oh, and in fact, the whole idea is for me to communicate to the Secretariat na ito po ang expectation ng committee sa inyo na ito yung itackle nyo na mga charges, ano. At kung meron pang iba, hindi ko alam, kanya dapat pag-aralan natin ito.
So, Mr. Chair, does this mean that we will run through the entire 27 allegations? Because even though, yung sa culpable violation, yung tampered TRO, yung ARCAO, you know, Justice De Castro is referred to, but there are other allegations where the Supreme Court is referred to. So, does this mean that we may ask her in any of the allegations where she may, as a resource person, in fact, give her own personal knowledge of that allegation?
Sige. I think that should be the proper way, ano? That should be the proper way. Pero can we review, paki-review nyo yung two other charges? Kasi, assuming papasa ito at pagbobotohan natin on probable cause and assuming that impeachment, that we will impeach the Chief Justice, ano? Babaguhin din naman natin yung complaint, hindi naman itong complaint na ito ipapile natin. Instead, we will craft the articles of impeachment. So kung ano man yung articles of impeachment na yun, ganun na ang ating takbo ng ating hearing from here on kasi tapos na yung kanya lang yung others hindi pa, pero to the extent that there are other charges on the third and the fourth grounds na may involve si Justice De Castro, tingnan na natin at i-cover na rin natin in our hearing involving the Associate Justice. And kung sino pa yung mga ibang dapat tumistigo rito. Di ba? Ang focus natin, of course, yung mga justices. Pag yung justices, kung pwede natin silang makuha ng in one sitting, covering all of the 27 allegations, ko-cover na natin. Pero yung iba naman, for example, Attorney Anama, pwedeng magpabalik-balik naman ito. Or Maidas Marquez, no? Si Attorney Marquez, pwede naman magpabalik-balik. Maliban lang yung justice. Kunwari, si Justice Tiham, Hardelesa, basta yung mga members of the Supreme Court, I think they deserve a different treatment when we conduct this hearing. And then, syempre, the respect that we ought to give them should be properly observed.
Who is expected to be on the line in the morning tomorrow?
Si Justice De Castro.
So may resolution na lumabas.
Hindi ko pa alam. Basta we're just breaking news lang ito. Kanya aalamin pa natin ito. Pero we are quite certain that Justice De Castro has been authorized. We are quite certain of that. And so I guess he will be the most explosive witness and or resource person to give us the facts that we had been wanting to elicit by reason of personal knowledge and not only on authentic documents. But of course, he can also testify on that. Anything else? Ano pang, Ken, meron ba kayong suggestion para mas maging maganda yung palakad natin ng hearing, para mas comprehensive tayo at mas malinaw ang paglalahad natin ng mga charges? Parang the whole idea is take advantage and optimize her yung presence niya para we can cover as much as we could with the testimonies that she will give before this committee.
Mr. Chair, I was about to suggest that the complainant would sit down with our secretariat to facilitate the coming complainant Gadon and secretariat come up with a matrix. Exactly what are we supposed to ask Justice De Castro? What are the pertinent documents that she would be testifying on? The relative charge, under what paragraph? Yung ganon. Para mabilis. And I would suggest...
May binigay na po akong outline kahapon. Nandun yung kung ano yung mga issues na magte-testify sila.
Ni Justice De Castro.
Pati po yung ibang justices. Kaya Justice Brion, Justice Hardelesa. Nakalagay po.
Justice De Castro.
And also, if we can suggest to the members of the committee that we take note of the questions being asked by members of the committee na hindi naman tayo repetitive. Halimbawa, pag natanong na ni gwapong Congressman Belmonte, dapat huwag na natin tanong uli. Pwede nang pumasok yung recross. Sige, okay. Sige. Yun lang. Kaya nga, sige. So, favorite motion to suspend? Suspension lang para
move to suspend until tomorrow at 9:30
Yeah.
in the morning.
Okay, any motion? Nag-move na, seconded. So the committee hearing today, impeachment committee hearing today is suspended until 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. Thank you.
That the chairman of the House Justice Committee, Reynaldo Umali, is set to prepare for the possibility of Associate Justice Teresita De Castro showing up in tomorrow's hearing again. That is 9:30. Let's listen in again. All right, so that suspends today's hearing. As I mentioned a while ago, it seems that they are preparing for the possibility of Associate Justice Teresita De Castro showing up in tomorrow's hearing. That's at 9:30 in the morning. Nothing is really set in stone. However, they are making sure that all will be set in place, such as they will allow the Associate Justice to give an opening statement and, of course, be accorded the proper respect as a co-equal branch of government. This happened, breaking news just a couple of minutes ago. Spokesperson of the Supreme Court, Duterte, already saying that Associate Justice Teresita De Castro has been allowed to attend the hearings of the House Justice Committee on the impeachment case against Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno on 3 matters. Again, these 3 matters are the TRO on senior citizens. Associate Justice Teresita De Castro is allowed to talk about her and the Chief Justice's exchange in communication, but not the deliberations on that. Point number 2 is on the clustering of the JBC, or the Judicial and Bar Council. She will be allowed also to discuss the merits of her main decision, but not the deliberation on that. And the third is then ʟᴜᴜᴛ Francis Hardilesa, who is now also a member of the Supreme Court as Associate Justice. Teresita De Castro will be authorized to discuss the merits of her separate concurring opinion on this, but not the deliberation or anything that happened in the deliberation of then ʟᴜᴜᴛ Francis Hardilesa. Also, Attorney Duterte clarifying that those invited by the House Justice Committee, members of the Supreme Court, can appear before the House Justice Committee only to talk about administrative matters. They can appear if they wish to, but they are not mandated to appear, nor are they required to appear. So far, 2 grounds have been discussed in today's hearing. They finished at least the first ground on culpable violation of the Constitution. A long discussion there on the apparent or alleged deliberation by the Supreme Court on the transfer of the cases of the Maute cases to Luzon or Visayas and possibly in Taguig. And also the second is corruption, where Attorney Larry Gadon alleges that the Chief Justice bought a Land Cruiser for 5 million pesos, which he claims used obviously public funds, which he says is for her extravagant lifestyle. Also, he talked about first-class tickets that the Chief Justice has been using, which he eventually amended to business-class tickets, and also that talk on the presidential villa in Boracay. So far, those have been